Hi Choco family, welcome to our Choco Paint online workshop. We're so excited that you could join us here today. I'm Sharon Wellman, I'm the rep for Choco Paint in the Eastern Cape and the Garden Route area. I first got introduced to Choco Paint about 4 to 5 years ago. I was looking for a really good paint for my murals and I discovered Choco Paint and I have never looked back. I was blown away by the quality of the paint. The coverage is amazing, the drying time suited my needs, and of course the absolute glorious colors just became something I can't actually do without. If you are new to Choco Paint, allow me a minute to tell you about this most marvelous product. Choco Paint is an eco-friendly, water-based chalk paint. Inside each bottle is a built-in primer and sealer, and what that means for us is that we don't have to do much prep. So if I'm going to be painting on raw wood, like we are going to be doing today, we just open the bottle and off we go, no prep required. Welcome to the wonderfully hypnotic world of dot art, where perfection comes one dot at a time. This playful technique is all about building beautiful patterns, mandalas, and masterpieces using nothing but, well, dots. Think of it as painting with polka dots, but way more satisfying. Dot art is equal parts meditation and magic. However, it does come with a warning because it's oddly addictive, and it's known to cause spontaneous just one more dot sessions. Whether you are new to dot art or a seasoned crafter, we hope that this session will be easy to follow, fun, and very inspiring. Once your creation is complete, please do share them on social media. Use the tag #ChocoAngels for a chance to be featured. This is what you're going to be getting in your angel kit. Either a small, medium or large wooden blank to decorate, a stencil, a string of 6 Choco colors. There are 2 variants that you could choose from. A pencil, 2 dot art tools in various sizes, a plastic spatula, and a 50 ml bottle of Stencil of Paris. And with this, you can create a finished product that looks like that, which we will be obviously going to go, and I'm going to show you step by step how to do that. Right, so now that we've gone through the kit and you've seen what we're going to be using, let's get started, shall we? I've decided that I am not going to use the stencil to create an actual white stencil like I did on this example, purely because there is no stencil brush in the kit. But that doesn't mean you can't do it if you have one at home. So this next step, the first step I want to do is I want to lighten this wood a little bit or change it in color. I'm going to use white, but you can use any color that's in the kit. It's just the paint, a little blob of it diluted with some water and then painted onto the wood. I'm going to use white just to lighten it a little bit. You don't have to be too hectically neat. I'm going just in around this little block of the body. You just use a little bit of water if you're using white. If you're using the other colors, the stronger pigments, maybe you can use a little bit more water just to dilute it a little bit more. Okay, so I've gotten to that point. I'm going to just wipe some of it back a little bit. Don't need to do a major wipe. Oops, I missed the top there. Right, that looks okay. With white, don't dilute it too much, otherwise you lose the effect. So we'll wait for this to dry. Then I'm going to take my stencil. I'm opting for this one, which comes in the kit, and we're going to place it over here and very lightly take the pencil that comes with the kit and just trace the pattern. You can use it over there or there in the middle, wherever you decide looks best. So now that the white is dry, I'm going to get along by placing my stencil in the place where I want it to be, tracing the outlines in pencil, and then getting a move on with the dot art actually. But for this, of course, I need my glasses. So I am putting my stencil down. I've decided I will put the design right in the middle, like that. It's a bit tricky to tape it because obviously it's way smaller than, the angel is way smaller than the actual stencil. But I'm just going to hold it and lightly draw the patterns around it. So there's a close-up of how it's going to look. Don't worry about the pencil lines. We're going to rub those out afterwards when everything is dry. I want to just color this face. I'm going to do it a little peachy color. Same idea, a little bit of a wash. I'm going to take this color. It's actually Adorable Amina. And this one, Simon Says. These are, and a bit of white. So I'm going to use this, a little bit, this, a little bit, mix it up, and then add a little bit of white to make a kind of a fleshy color. I'm just going to paint it on the front, chiefly really to get rid of that dark spot that was on there. You don't have to paint the entire thing. I'm just painting around the front area because we're going to put some Stencil of Paris for hair on the front. You can add a tiny touch of the red to make it a little bit more pink. Like that. I'm going to put a little bit around where I think the cheeks should be, and then dry my brush off or use my finger often and just soften it. Get started with the dot art. You'll see that you have two different sizes of dot art tools. They've just got different size nibs on the end, which just determine the size of the actual dot. So I'm going to grab, I don't want them too big, so I'm going to take a medium size one. Then all you simply do is dip it into the neat, not diluted paint. I'm going to do it on a piece of paper to start to see if it is actually the right size dot I want. So you plonk it down. Now I'm on the angel. I am just following the lines and putting a dot. Try and space them evenly. You know, don't put too much on the actual thing. This is an exercise in patience. You can fill the entire little shape in, or you can leave as is and just do the lines. It's a very, very therapeutic and relaxing, surprisingly. Not for the impatient, but you know, if you make a mess, quickly just wipe it off and then you can start again. Paint over the thing and off you go again. So it's not the end of the world if you make a mess. try and enjoy the process. You're creating something beautiful and with love. That's sort of what you're aiming for. Try and not sort of brush your hand over that, because you can smudge them. The dots take quite a while to just actually dry up. I try to get them fairly close to each other so you don't actually see the pencil line, but you know, it's a personal choice. Then you can, if you wanted to, fill that entire little shape in, or just leave as is, up to you. You could also paint those shapes and do other colors on top, and that is what I'm going to do now, but this is optional. So you would need your own brush, and then I'm going to show you what I'm going to do and add just a little extra onto this. Now I've decided I'm going to take a very fine brush and fill in some of these shapes. I think that it would look quite nice. Obviously you could have stenciled this before you started with any of the dots, but I find that sometimes designs just evolve as you're working with them, and that's the fun part about this whole thing. I've already now put some white dots on top of that once they've been dried, and it starts giving a really nice effect. I think it just looks nicer than if it was just, you know, outlined. You don't have to do it in every single shape, but if you wanted to, of course there's no rules. Okay, so I have reached this point where I am happy with what I've done. I have only used 4 colors: white, Simon Says, Adorable Amina, and Charles Serenity out of the kit. The pattern is busy enough. You don't need to use all 6 colors in the actual project. You could if you wanted to, but my taste is towards less is more. So now we're going to do the wings and the hair. So we're going to use our Stencil of Paris. Stencil of Paris. I'm taking my palette knife and I'm going to use a blob of it and just start scraping it onto the wooden area of the wings. So I have a blob here, just plonk it on the wings. It's pretty much like I should imagine icing a cake might be. Not that I'm in any way, shape or form a baker or good in the kitchen. I think I just stay in the studio. It's just safer for everybody concerned. Anyway, you can see I've covered the wooden area of the wings and even the hair with rough strokes. Don't worry that it's got to be neat and flat and smooth. In fact, I rather like the textured look. So you just be liberal with it. There's enough actual paste to go right through and do the backs of the wings if you so feel. But just for the purposes of this demonstration, I'm going to just do the front. If you've missed any little spots, you can come back over and fix them up. At the end, it takes quite a while to dry, so you can set it aside. When it's dry, if you like, you can actually even paint the wings a color over this Stencil of Paris rather. It takes a while to dry, a few hours, so set it aside and reward yourself for spending so much time on the dotting. It really is a labor of love. But I think she came out quite cute. You can probably, at the end of all of this, you can jazz it up with a ribbon, hang her if you so wish. I prefer her to stand. We're going to put little eyes and a face on there. That takes a little bit of confidence. You can draw it on with a pencil in case you're not too excited about the result. And afterwards, yeah, I'll show you when this is dry, because I know myself, I'm going to mess it up and smudge it. So we'll wait until this is dry, then we'll do the little face. It's very simple to do. Our little angel's wings are dry. I decided to match the wings to the base, so I just made a mix of the blue and white and painted it over the dry stencil of Paris. Now we're going to do the little eyes. You can see I have already put on the markings with a pencil. I'm going to use some of the black from our kit, dilute it with a little bit of water, and then I'm going to simply just paint it on with a fine little brush. You can also, if you want to, use a fine liner. It works just as well. And there we go. I think she looks rather sweet. Here is the finished product. You can add ribbons or whatever you want to make them your own. I think they turned out quite sweet, and I'm sure it's going to be a very appreciated gift for your mom. Thank you so much for joining our workshop. I encourage you to continue practicing and using these dot art techniques on any other projects you may have. For inspiration, you can check out our Choco website or our social media pages. Join us on our Father's Day workshop on the 7th of June. We're going to be creating a lovely cheese board. It's a perfect gift for Dad to use for his favorite cheeses and biltong. The angel kits will be available online from the 5th of May, as well as in some selected stockists. If you loved today's workshop, but you might have felt a little bit lonely, why don't you invite a couple of friends over for the next workshop? Creativity is about joy and expression. We hope that today's workshop has inspired you to create something beautiful and meaningful for Mother's Day. Thank you for painting with us. We cannot wait to see what you've created. Happy crafting, everybody.